Hello! We are here for chapter 5. So, April Fool's in Love, a novella. So, just so people are aware, I believe there's 13 chapters. Yes, 13 chapters. And, we're doing these once a week. So, be sure to look down in the descriptions for the link to the playlist so that you can get caught up if you haven't listened to the other 4 chapters. And without any further ado, Friday, February 21st, Part 3. Esther's hands searched the dark expanse until she came in contact with hard muscle. She squeaked, "Sorry, can't see." "What are we doing?" Zeke's voice dipped low and husky. Shivers danced across her flesh, but she squashed the unease down, trying to reach her hair. One hand glided over his soft curls, the other rested on his chest. She massaged his scalp for a few seconds, enjoying the feel of his close proximity. A guttural noise she had never heard from Zeke rumbled beneath her other palm. "Star," he whispered reverently. She stopped moving and stared into the darkness, not seeing him, but feeling him. She cleared her throat and ruffled his hair. The electricity between them subsided, and Zeke pulled back. She shifted and mussed up her hair too, and moaned louder than appropriate. "What are you doing?" Zeke's hiss let her know he wasn't happy. "We're making sure we make this look like a great makeout session." She breathed heavily, but not by faking a kiss. Her nerves were tangled, and something about being in close confines with Zeke left her excited and scared at the same time. Part of her screamed that what she was doing was wrong, but seeing Damien give her that sexy smile sent reason jumping out the window. She leaned forward and grabbed Zeke's shirt. His hands clasped her wrists. "What are we doing?" "That's the 3rd time you asked that question." She tried to pull her hands away, but she leaned closer instead. "Would it be so bad to really kiss?" "Don't you think this is taking things too far?" His breath fanned her cheek, and he smelled of peppermint, Italian food, and the ocean. Rich, salty, and overwhelming. She lowered her eyelids. "There's a better way to do this, Star. I don't think people will get the best impression of us." He squeezed her wrist once before dropping his hands. She held back a whimper when he leaned away. She shook her head and snapped back to her mission. "This'll work. Just cooperate." She stood up and wrenched her clothing, trying to dishevel them. "But this isn't who we are." His voice came from above, letting her know he stood too. "Who we are isn't working. We gotta change ourselves a little, till we get what we want." Zeke's hands cradled her waist. "I don't want Lucy if it means she thinks I'm the guy who's going to make out in the closet at some house party in front of the entire school." His forehead touched hers. They both expelled a deep breath. "Zeke." She didn't know if her plea was for him to go along with this crazy plan, or lean closer to kiss her for real. She lifted on tiptoes, her body moving without her consent. Her lips searched for contact. "Time's up!" Bright light blinded her, but once she saw her classmates' faces, she knew her plan worked. The girls glanced at Zeke with longing eyes, and the guys smirked at each other and shared high fives. Zeke tugged Esther against his side. "We better go." He walked toward the front door, guiding her along the way. As they passed Damon, As they passed Damien, he perused her up and down and winked. If she didn't know any better, the track star just let her know he was interested. That was a nightmare. Zeke stared at the road as he drove. From the corner of his eye, he saw Esther patting down her hair and adjusting her skirt. The pair looked like they had been mugged. How in the world is that considered romantic? True, Lucy and Damien had both been staring at them, but probably because they had placed bets or something. That was my street. The pleasant voice chimed in. Huh? Zeke blinked and glanced around. Oh. He turned right on the next street. Sorry. He shook his head. It's all right. Esther laughed. I'm in another world, too. You know, I thought no one would see us with the dinner and the walk, but that combined with what we did in the closet. You mean what we didn't do? He turned on the radio. She talked over the music. The plan's working. All the girls will want you, and Damien. That's fooling yourself. Buy sticks! A hyper-excited radio announcer blared. Click. We're here. Zeke parked the truck at the curb and climbed out. He strode around to her side and opened the door. I'm glad you're happy. He forced a smile that wasn't necessary, since she didn't even look his way as she bustled toward her house. He followed. Well, good night. She studied the ground and rocked from foot to foot. Night. She waved and hurried inside, leaving Zeke on her doorstep. He sighed. Night, my star. Esther opened her bedroom door, thankful to escape the night's events. Zeke and she were only faking it, but her feelings were real. Being close to him made her head spin. Lucy stared at him as if he was a piece of meat. Zeke barely glanced at Esther the whole drive home. He must be thinking of Lucy. She stepped into her room to find her sister asleep on her bed. She's staying in your room, her mother's voice whispered from behind her. Turning slowly, she tilted her head and raised a brow. It's temporary. Her mother waved for her to go into the hall. Why? She crossed her arms. Because she can't be by herself. Esther scanned her room and noticed books, clothes, and shoes that were not hers. Only temporary? She glared at her mother. Esther. Her stern voice reminded her of the time she got in trouble. We're all doing our part for our family. You and Rachel get to share a room, just like old times. Old times are old for a reason. She joined her mom in the hall, leaving the door ajar. We haven't shared a room since Rachel started kindergarten. Your father and I need you to do this. She hurt herself tonight and needs someone to watch after her. We're counting on... Hurt herself? How? Esther leaned forward. Her mom sighed and looked down, a red tinge blotting her cheek. I found marks on her wrists. They look to be only a few days old. We need you to watch her, to make sure she doesn't hurt herself again. I'm not qualified. I have school, work, responsibilities. Enough. Mom held up a hand, cutting off any protest. You only need to wake up a few times throughout the night to make sure she's still asleep and okay. I'll watch her during the day, so it's only watching her when she sleeps. She doesn't need a babysitter. She needs professional help. Can't either of you see that? She dropped her hands and leaned against the wall. She doesn't need professional help. Her mother walked down the hallway. This is just a phase. She spoke over her shoulder before disappearing around the corner. Where are you now, God? Esther grumbled and walked into her now shared bedroom. Zeke parked in the empty garage and killed the ignition, his head pressed against the steering wheel. Oh, Princess Angel. He slid out of the front seat and slammed the door. Walking inside the dark house, he stopped at the answering machine. 2 messages? Can't believe Dad won't toss the stupid landline. Beep! Ezekiel, you'll have to fend for yourself. I didn't get to the store, but I left a 20 on the nightstand if you need to order pizza or something. Guess that's why you wanted the landline, to not talk to your son. Father of the year. Zeke scowled. Don't forget to pack for spring break. I already have the tickets, and with my schedule, we'll have to leave the moment you get to the hospital, so no side trips. Got it? He rolled his eyes. Yeah, right. Better hurry. He skipped the rest of the sure-to-be lecture. Beep! Message deleted. This message is for Dr. DuPont, a woman giggled. Henry, I really enjoyed our dinner last night and was hoping we could have another one soon. But I seem to have lost your business card. I'm glad you're listed, the female voice flirted. If you don't return my call, I'll be forced to stop by in person. My number is... Beep! Message deleted. Zeke pinched the bridge of his nose, and this is the other reason for a landline. He rubbed his neck. Trust me, I'm saving you a lot of trouble, lady. He stomped into the kitchen and opened the fridge. Dr. Dad wasn't kidding. No milk, no butter, no eggs, half a gallon of expired orange juice, and a bowl of fuzzy, molded leftovers. Shaking his head, Zeke reached into the cabinet and grabbed a tube of crackers and a jar of peanut butter. It'll have to do. He made a few peanut butter cracker sandwiches and wolfed them down. He opened the pantry and grabbed the dog food. Barking and pawing echoed from the sliding glass door. I'm coming, Scampers, Duchess, Butch. Blocking the dogs with his foot, he squeezed out the door. The pair of ankle biters yipped, while the Rottweiler howled. Okay, okay. He poured the food into 3 dishes and grabbed the water hose to fill their trough. I'd let you live in the house, but Dad has his rules, and it's his house. At least he lets me keep you guys. He smiled as the 2 little pups fought over their bowls. Scampers. He attempted to be as stern as he could muster through restrained laughter. Leave Duchess alone. He used his foot to scoot the blonde terrier away from the black and brown dachshund. You're supposed to always treat ladies right. He leaned against the glass door, even if you don't like it. Woof! The deep, throaty bark shook Zeke from his reverie. Yes, Butch. Yeah, Butch. A family who needs a good guard dog spoke with me, and it looks like you'll be leaving us. They have 3 kids and a big house they want you to prowl. It'll be perfect. The pure-blooded Rottweiler panted, and his tongue lolled out the side of his mouth. I'll play with you guys when I get home from my errands tomorrow, okay? He scratched each dog behind the ears and with no small effort managed to squeeze back inside. The thought of locking them in his dad's room came and went. He wouldn't do it, but a smile tugged at his lips from the image. Once in his room, he emptied his pockets into his dresser, stripped down to his boxers, and plopped onto the bed. The painting is almost done. He stared at the canvas covered by a cloth. His eyes shifted to the tickets on his nightstand. Sitting up, he snatched the envelope with Esther scrawled upon it and groaned. So much for that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He crumpled it up and threw it at the trash can near the easel. He surveyed the room. The outfit he wore today lay strewn across the floor, dirty paint-stained cloths from his project piled at the base of the A-frame. His waistband overflowed with rough-drafted poems. Mom would have a fit. What he wouldn't give to hear her harp on how he needed to keep his room clean and tidy, to tell him that he needed a clean workspace to have a clean mind. Falling back against his pillows, he stared at the ceiling. Crickets chirped. Somewhere a car alarm sounded, and dogs barked, but not his. They were too distant to be his. Pulling out his old leather-bound journal, he clicked on his bedside lamp and turned to where a ribbon marked the page from a year ago. January 10th. Mom's doing worse today. Dad says the operation will fix everything, but I wish he would just wait till she's stronger. I know he's one of the best, but it's not worth the risk. Not that he listens to me. My mom's too full of pain meds to really be her normal self. He turned the page. January 17th. Mom died on the table. Star's parents took me to their place. Tear stains littered the page, smudging the rest of his entry. February 18th. Dad still isn't home from work. I lost my mom and dad on the same day. I just didn't know it. He won't even go to church with me anymore. He flipped ahead a few pages. March 3rd. Dad's dating. He didn't tell me, but it's obvious. I think he just wants the pain to stop. It hurts to lose Mom, but after talking with the pastor, I know I'll get to see her again someday. I just Dad would be here too. He skipped another page or two. March 23rd. Enough is enough. If Dad's giving up on life, then that's on him. I'm going to find a way to help others and bring joy to people. To show them there is hope, and that despite all the bad stuff, they don't have to give up. Maybe one day, Dad and I can go back to being a father and son. March 24th. Star helps. She hates when I call her that name, but she lights up my dark life, just like the stars light up the night. She's struggling with her family, too. Her sister's accident put her whole family in turmoil. I pray for Rachel. Star tries not to show it, to be strong for her family, but I see her pain. We are walking through our darkest days together. Nice to have a friend, especially one as bright as a star. Zeke flipped ahead to a blank page and pulled out his pen. February 21st. I want to be there for Star, but this crazy plan is killing me. She didn't even realize that today was the anniversary of the day we met, and now the whole school thinks we did it in a closet. I didn't like the way Damien looked at her. Every part of me wanted to punch him. The worst part, we didn't kiss again. I wanted to ask her about it on the ride home, but she wouldn't even look at me. She was probably dreaming about him. I knew Star was out of my league. It was okay just to be her friend, but now, pretending to be this close to her, and it's all an act. How I just want to be able to talk to Star like before. Doing this, something is changing between us, and I'm afraid what will happen when I finally tell her the truth. Zeke shook his head and flung his journal across the room, the sound of glass shattering as it collided with a picture on the wall. What would Mom say? He fought the tears. Don't blubber like a girl. That's not you. That's your father talking. Zeke blinked. He had heard the voice as clear as day. Mom? Just let it out. Everything will be all right, as long as you don't give up. The tears broke free and he laughed. Mom. He pressed a hand against his chest. You always had the right words. You're not alone, even when you are. Zeke smiled despite the still flowing tears. Right. I'm not alone. He sucked in a breath. God, I'm sorry. I know this is all wrong, but I don't know what to do. I can't abandon Star now. I love her too much. A warmth settled over him that he hadn't felt in a long time. He didn't hear anything, see anything, but he felt it. He nodded. I'll be there for her. I'll love her, no matter what happens. And that was chapter 5. So please comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and check out the rest of the chapters. We're going to keep going through this, and I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you for watching. Bye.